It's a new day. It's a new day. It's Thursday, but that's all right because team don't sleep. We don't sleep, and we here. Social Impact of Sport, Montel Allen. How you doing, brother?
Absolutely. Man, blessed, man, as usual. You know how that goes, man. Just 10 toes. And thank God every day for
Every single
day.
day. Every single day. Listen, we could not go live yesterday. We had something. We're gonna highlight some of the activities that happened on Wednesday. I'm gonna go ahead and give you them flowers a little bit later. We're not gonna give them to you now, but we're gonna give them to you later. I'm over here trying to watch these Mavericks, and I'm trying to watch these Wolves. And only one that showed up to play tonight was Dallas. So we'll see how that works out and what's going on. It's a short flight from Minnesota to Boston.
It's gonna be short, yeah. It's gonna be short.
So I don't think Luka and Kyrie plan on going back to Texas. They got storms over there anyway. So I got a feeling they're trying to go over to Boston.
I think if they can punch that ticket tonight, they're going straight to Boston to get ready for game one, which probably happened on Sunday, I believe. If they win tonight, it's the first game's on Sunday.
Yeah.
So we need to go back home, get out there to Boston, get to practicing, get some rest, get out there and get a couple practices in and get ready for the game.
We'll see, man. 69-40 halftime right now. We'll see how it goes. I'm gonna keep watching it because I don't have any money on the game, so I'm not even gonna mess with that. So I ain't gonna get myself in trouble. I don't know if my wife's listening.
Who you got between Boston and Dallas? Put it on the record.
Oh, this is Jason's year. Listen, that Dallas is dope, but this is Boston's year. Yeah, Jason Tatum, he's gonna get his. Yeah, this is their year.
I like
they
Boston.
bet not lose. How about that? They bet not lose.
It's going to be Dallas. Dallas is going to win. I don't think they have an answer for Kyrie or Luka.
Well, nobody has an answer for Luka, especially tonight.
Yeah. So, and I think they're going to play enough. They play enough defense to stop Boston, and we already know that Tatum's going to choke at least 1 or 2 games.
Oh my goodness! He just said the man going to choke.
He does. I mean, I ain't saying nothing nobody else don't know. He chokes at least 1 or 2 games every championship he plays in. So, or every big time profile game he plays in. So, with that being said, I think Kyrie and them are going to win, and I would love to see Jason Kidd bring a championship back to California, native California, bring a championship back. Even though it's in Dallas, he was the head coach. He'll bring one.
We'll see. Last time I saw Jason Kidd, no, I'm sorry. God damn it, see, I'm mixing them up. That was Mike Bibby. I was gonna say I saw him in the Cheesecake Factory, but that was my. I'm going to hell for that one. Oh man,
that's all look alike. I got you. They all look alike.
That's what I said. I'm going to hell for that one. I apologize. Marvin Stark, what it do, brother? We see you. Marvin hit me up earlier this morning and said, "Hey man, we got some tickets coming." He speaking of Minneapolis and Minnesota, he a big Prince fan. Sent me a link. I'm not going to give out the link because I don't want anybody else to win because I'm trying to win. So I'm just saying there's some opportunities out
there. Jason, but back to Jason Kidd. Hopefully he does more for the town. I think one of the bigger questions is if he wins. I'm not sure what his contract with Dallas is, but do the Lakers pursue Jason Kidd as their next head coach?
Not if he wins. No, not if he wins.
He's a California guy. No, there's no bigger stage than being in LA.
Well, hold on. I say that out loud, and then I think about it as I say it because nobody has money like the Bus family in basketball. Wow, that could be a very interesting thing. You win, we pluck you from your winning team and your winning organization, and we ask you to come over here. Oh my gosh.
I don't see where they wouldn't. Right. I think the Lakers have been very slow in this process of getting a new head coach. Right. Mm-hmm. Typically, you have a head coach before the draft. The draft is coming up in a couple of weeks, and there's nobody in sight. It seems like who they're going to hire. I think they have their eye on Jason Kidd. I think they're like, hey, if this guy wins it, or if he even gets him to the finals, why don't we try to see if we can give a go and bring him back to California? He's good. He's already him and LeBron are already cool. I think that'd give a great step for LeBron to stay regardless where Bronny gets drafted, and for them to get another chance. I don't think it's out of pocket.
So you're not a JJ Redick. You're not following that rumor mill.
No, I mean JJ Redick is a nice commentator. I don't know how he is as far as the X and O's as a coach, but with no experience and you're trying to take a team to the championship, and you've been in the broadcasting game for like 3 or 4 years, I don't think that's the right fit. I think they need to get somebody that's been coaching, that knows what's going on, kind of knows the landscape of coaching the NBA. I don't think Jason Kidd is a great, perfect prospect. I thought Tyronn Lue was going to be the guy. I really did. I thought he would migrate from the Clippers over to the Lakers. But since that didn't work out because he just signed that extended contract, it looks like I would try to poach Jason Kidd. It just only makes sense, right? He runs an up-tempo offense. He preaches defense. He knows the game just as good as LeBron.
That's
LeBron
true.
probably is the most knowledgeable guy that's on the court out of everybody, coaches and players, when it comes to games. Jason Kidd knows the game just as well. So it seems like it will be a great fit.
We'll see. Listen, Shirley P is in the building. No, I don't know. Maybe Thursday. I don't know. We being flexible, right? Mr. Allen had some very important engagements that he was involved in last night, so we postponed until today. But we'll see how this works out. Timing, days. We want to be open to you guys, but also we don't want to be live all night. So we can't let you answer all the questions. We got to figure out something that works for everyone. But yeah, just this week we live here on Thursday. There we go. We official now. Seen you over there on Facebook, on the Facebook. All right, brother. Let's go and get into it. We got some stories that we have to talk about, and we always start with the social impact side. Some unfortunate things happened this week. We lost a couple of folks. We lost. Listen, Bill Walton was a cool dude. Bill Walton was quirky. He had all the dad jokes. He had all the shenanigans and all the sayings. He was a UCLA man, so I like that. But we did lose Bill Walton this week, and that was, I don't know if you ever expected, but it just seemed like that came out of the blue. Because I just seen him on TV, just seen him commentating and things of that. But this was a sad story right here to lose Bill Walton like this.
Yeah, he lost his battle with cancer, unfortunately. I know, he's from the San Diego area. He's from high school. He was an alumni from there. Went to UCLA, had a great career, obviously there, and then went on to the NBA. But he always had that foot and knee injury, unfortunately, that kind of hindered his career. But I never really, I was too young. When I was very young, when he was playing in that league, I never saw the greatness. But they say he was great. He was like the next coming of Lou Alcindor. Big man that could move really well, do all the things, shoot, block shots, and all those things. As far as the personality, you're right. He was a little quirky. He was a Southern San Diego guy, surfing all the time.
Y'all different down there. Yeah, y'all different down there.
He's doing his thing, kind of just that guy. I mean, his boys went on to have great high school careers and college careers. His one son actually even coached the Lakers. That's what we're talking about. He coached the Kings, right? He coached the Kings.
Yeah, he was up here with the Kings. Yep.
At the one point. So, the Walton family, man, is a staple in Southern California. And he's a guy that's, man, just a legend. And it's sad. I pray for his family and his strength, and I pray for them, to get over these trying times. But he's just a pillar, man, in the community. He's just a goofy. I think he was just a guy that had fun with life, man. I really do. I just think
that's a good way to put it, right? We don't know how many days, we don't know how many nights, we don't know what the time is, but while you here, if you get up and you put your feet down, enjoy that day. Right? He was able to enjoy that day.
I think he was able to secure his finances, live in the place he wanted to live, and just enjoy every day, like enjoy life to its full. We all seen him on the commentary. He would say something quirky or something we didn't agree with, or some kind of outlandish, or that was witty to him, but everybody else was like, okay, I don't know what he's talking about. But I think the guy just enjoyed life, man. I really sincerely think he just enjoyed his life and enjoyed everything that came with it. So salute to him, salute to his legacy, and prayers for his family to get over it, man. But we lost. The basketball community lost a really good one.
Definitely. I saw Shaq, said, we lost one of the 4 big men of all time. I didn't know that Bill Walton was so much of I'll say an activist, Right. So yeah, he had the foot issues, obviously in college. And then when he was over in Portland, helped them win their one and only championship. But the fact that he left Portland because he did not like the way the organization was handling player relations, when a player gets hurt, things like that. So right when there's actually issues going on with the player and themselves, like he was one of the pioneers of actually advocating for players, especially throwing their body around the court and just making sure that they're addressed. So that's when he went to Boston.
Yeah. I think he was a big advocate for player safety, right? Because he had to go through it, right?
Yeah.
And being hurting himself. Not only I think in UCLA that's where the injury started, but definitely in the NBA where his foot was really, really bad. But I think he was just looking out for the players. I think he was a part of the NBA Players Association, and he was an advocate of those types of things. Rightfully so, he went against ownership because ownership. I think he didn't feel that they were medically protecting the players. I think the players, they wanted people in the seats, so the superstars got to be in there. Especially in those days and age, the superstars got to be on the floor in order for people to get in the seats. And I think that was a push that he disagreed with, and rightfully so, right?
Yeah,
it's probably one people that we don't hear about it, but probably behind the scenes, he's probably a person that changed a lot in basketball. Was a person that was advocating for a lot of change, and rightfully so. But I think that's why you see so many current players, or at least players of our era, thank him and really acknowledge his life. Basketball player.
I always respect more when players and probably maybe even coaches speak up on the anatomy of the game as opposed to analysts. Right?
Yep.
As opposed to the ones who, again, we've made this statement before, never laced them up, never been in the locker room, don't know what that's all about. If you've never played, or I won't call out his name, if your record was so bad and you still talking mess every single day just because you bring in the likes and the clicks, I can't respect you. But if Bill Walton out there talking, we can respect him. So you're right. Rest in peace to that man.
It's funny because you said it, because the Skip Baylesses and the Stephen A. Smith.
So you said the names. I wasn't gonna say no names. You already throwing these. Okay. See.
I mean, it's not like we're saying something that's not documented. Skip Bayless was very horrible in basketball, and Jalen Rose exposed him about it.
Yeah.
And Stephen A. Smith wasn't very good at basketball either. I think I don't know if he made college, or I know high school he wasn't that good, and he was worse at the next level, whether it be intramurals or college, of Stephen A. Smith. But they're the analysts, right? Those are the ones that get the likes. And the only reason they get those is because they're argumentative. They rather scream the loudest in the room and go against the grain, or go with the grain but be the loudest in the room with it in order to get likes, in order for people to pay attention and listen to them. And I applaud them. They both got great platforms. I don't necessarily agree with their ways, but it is what it is. But like you said, I take the player's opinion over I would take guys like that opinion, because players have been through it. They've been through the ringer. They've been through everything that needs to go on. What goes on in a basketball game, a basketball season, basketball practices, basketball, going through the discussions with front office, and so on and so on and so on. They know what it's like. So when they speak, they have credibility. I think that hasn't played doesn't have credibility like that. They got knowledge, but they don't got credibility. Then there's a big difference.
Man, you okay? Yeah, you got something on your mind tonight. You dropping them. That's gonna be out there on the internet in about 2 hours, folks. That statement right there. Next story we had. We again want to give this. Man, this was sad. I was sitting there with my wife, and I was sitting there with my in-laws, and we were watching TV, getting ready for the tournament to start that day. Found out that 30-year-old Grayson Murray, right, was out there Friday, playing, practicing, chipping, putting, all that, and then here comes the next day. Oh, Saturday, he was out there playing putting because he had played the first 2 days, but then he was getting ready for the next round. He was out there at the putting green, practicing, getting ready. Abruptly interrupted himself and said, "You know what? I'm done." I think that was the actual statement that he said he was done. He withdrew himself from the tour. Come to find out, he committed suicide. 30 years old, had issues in the past with mental health, had issues in the past with alcoholism. Don't necessarily know if that was a part of it. He made it through the weekend. He was about to play Sunday, right? So he was doing what he needed to do. But this is just a sad story again, as well. So, 30-year-old Grayson Murray, right, just withdrew himself from the Charles Schwab Challenge after the 16th hole on Friday, after the second round. And he said he was at reasons of illness. He said he was done. And the context of being done and to find out literally 5 minutes before everybody was supposed to tee off, because I was watching the emotions of the commentators, right, when they literally just found out. So this, man, here's another one that we need to think about here.
I think, first of all, if you see any signs of somebody being in depression and suicide, you feel, or if you feel depression, you feel like you're going to commit suicide, please call the suicide hotline to get help, to have a voice of reasoning in your ear to kind of hopefully talk you out of doing harm to yourself. I think for him, I don't know if the signs were there or not. It didn't seem like the signs were there at all because he was playing through the weekend. He was doing probably something that he loved to do.
Yeah,
I'm not sure what else was going on in his life that caused him to have this mental breakdown at that point. And I'm surprised there was nobody there with him. Like there was no manager with him or no friend or somebody that was with him to kind of, ask him why he was doing it, probe the questions, and kind of stay with him while he gets whatever he gets together. And I think this is a sign, even in this, in like we don't see it in golf, right? We don't see the interactions of the bad things that happen in golf,
right?
A racial incident or something like that, or something involved with the police like we have recently. But we don't never hear about things, mental depression, alcoholism, drug abuse, or anything like that in the golfing world. We don't hear about it in the comment because they don't promote it and they don't do enough stories on it. I know we have just isolated incidents like the John Daly. He was an alcoholic.
Right. Out there smoking out there. Yeah. Again, you're right. Isolated issues and isolated situations.
Yeah.
Correct.
Tigers indiscretions that he had. Like really, it's really isolated. Certain. We never know what kind of mental things they go through, right, in golf, which is a very mental sport. Very mental. Like you got to be able to, especially play at that level, being professional, you have to be able to do the same thing consistently every time at every hole in order to be successful. So I could already know that takes a mental fatigue on everyone that plays the game. So can you imagine somebody that has mental fatigue and you've already been battling bouts of depression and alcoholism? It could just compound really, really fast, I believe, in a sport like that. And I just wish there was somebody to see the signs. I pray for his family, especially with some situation like this. It's eruptive and you don't know what to do. Everybody's lost, right? They don't know why. Everybody wants to answer the question, why? Why'd you do that? He had people that loved him, people that did, all the whole thing is sad, man. And he died so young at the age of 30 years old. He's barely starting to begin to live life at the age of 30. And unfortunately, he took his life, man. So my prayers go out to his family for strength. Again, man, if you guys know anybody that's battling depression or anything, please jump on ask for help. It don't even have to be a suicide hotline. Just reach out to somebody and ask for help. Just talk to them. And if they can, if you have someone that you think is battling with it, you need to reach out to them and talk to them. And just figure, give them that comfort that that they're okay and they're gonna be all right. And they're loved. They have people that love them, and hopefully that's enough to stop them from doing damage to themselves.
Yeah, and Shirley said, some people disguise their feelings, think something or someone would have seen it coming, but it's the poker face, tears of a clown. And again, I'm third person looking in and talking about this, but I agree with you 100%, man. The onus is on us as well, right? If we see somebody within our circle, if we see someone who we hang with, our partners, our friends, family, whatever, you're remiss if you don't reach out and say, "Hey, Montel, you all right?" Right, and even just keep pushing, right? If I see it in your eyes and I know something is not right, let's talk about it, man. Let's go somewhere neutral. Let's go to the park. Let's go play basketball. Let's go somewhere and talk about it. Just and be non-confrontational is the best way to put it.
Also believe, like, don't take the cliche answer. I'm okay. If you see the demeanor's off, the behavior's off, or there's something wrong, you can't just take that person for word that they're okay, because like you said, it's that disguise, it's the poker face they're hiding right now to hide behind that pain. I think people commit suicide when the pain becomes overwhelming on life. Like you just can't figure out a way to decipher it, so that pain hurts so much. You think that pain hurts more than living life. So that's when I believe people, decide to do harm to themselves. I think you just got to notice the people that are close around need to notice the signs and ask for help and ask him and consistently be. I don't think there's nothing wrong with being a bugaboo. If you think something's wrong with somebody, you keep calling them. Hey man, what's wrong with you? Sit down, call. Make them say, "Damn, quit calling me and ask me if I'm all right."
Leave me alone, brother. Leave me alone. Well, that's what I wanted to hear. I wanted to hear some emotion. I wanted to hear something. Yeah.
Yeah. I think people, we tend to say, "Oh, that's their, well, okay, well, this is giving us privacy. Let them, you're gonna be okay. We're not gonna be too intrusive." Nah, I think when you see those signs or you see glaring signs where you think they might hurt themselves, we need to be more intrusive. We need to be more involved in life. We need to be asking those questions.
Yeah.
We need to be that bugaboo, because I don't ever want to see another 30-year-old take their own life. No, in a professional sport, nothing. But I mean, we got to be honest with ourselves. The United States has a high suicide rate, and we have it because there's such a lot of depression.
Mm-hmm.
It is. It's a lot of depression. There's a lot going on. We got all these things going on politically. We got all these things going economically. We got a large amount of homelessness. We got a large amount of crime. We have so many things going around in our social economic surroundings. Depression sets in because situations happen. I think people have to ask other people, make sure they're okay. That's why we always say at the end of the show, man, check up on the ones you love. Check up on them. Call them, say hi, just see how they doing. Because you never know. Man, this man he's playing, he withdrew himself. Everybody think he's okay. Maybe he's just got a stomach flu, he's hurt somewhere, he's gonna go, hey, so he's gonna be good. And then next thing you know, this guy was battling with something that made him kill himself. So you gotta reach out. We just have, I think collectively in your circle, you have to reach out. You do.
And that reverberates out, and we'll be a better society of human beings if we do that. We will be a better society of people if we do that. So, Bill Walton, young man as well here. Grayson Murray, to their families, obviously we give condolences, and the ones that we don't know about. Right, these are just the ones that we rose to the surface because we wanted to have the conversation and have that deep conversation. I'm gonna find I had it somewhere, the suicide and help prevention line, 886-866, something like that. I'm gonna make sure to put it in there. Man, again, we've had this conversation way too many times, but I'm gonna make sure that we have it in the description so folks can catch up on that. Shirley saying, yep. Amen. Back to golf. Back to another individual. We wanted to circle back.
This will make me laugh.
I'm shaking my head because I don't get it, but okay, I guess I will never get it, to be honest with you. But your boy Scottie Scheffler, y'all remember Scott? We don't have to go into it. Scottie Scheffler messed around and didn't want to be involved with early morning incident where the bus ran over and hit someone, killed them. He said, I got to go play golf. Don't y'all know me? I'm world number one. Runs up on the median. Policeman jumps on the car. Scottie said, man, I got to go play golf. Drags the policeman, has a couple of words with him, has a few words with him. Needless to say, Scottie is free and clear, and all charges have been dropped. And I believe that the police department over at the Valhalla Golf Club just, hey, Scottie, can you just you sign a hat for us, brother? We sorry. We didn't mean to inconvenience you. Not being facetious, but I am being facetious. Scottie Scheffler has been exonerated of the charges of striking a police officer, evading a scene of a fatality. Montel, if you was to ever do something like that, brother, I tell you what, we wouldn't be able to find you. We would not be able to find you.
No bail. It'll be no bail. We'll be doing this.
It wouldn't even be a story, right? It wouldn't even be a story.
I'll be on the phone doing the show. I'll be on that little phone talking about collect call from the county whatever.
Yeah.
Can we do it? I think the bigger story is not that he committed assault on an officer and evading a crime scene, and you get the charges dropped. Though that assaulting a officer is a felony. That's a felony. They dropped all charges against him, and I would beg to differ if it was another athlete of another color that was to do that. I don't think they would be as lenient to the situation, and that's just it. I don't. Everyone can say it's not racial, it's racial. No, I think that has a lot to do with it. Because we've seen the other incidents where people of color, they don't get off so lightly with that.
Yeah.
And the fact that you drop it all of a sudden doesn't even have to go to court. At least you would have to go to court, get a lawyer, and do all those things.
At least go through the process, right? At least go through the whole process. But I hold no ill will in what they're saying. Jefferson County Attorney Mike O'Connell said prosecutors would not pursue the case and asked for the charges to be dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can't be filed again in the future. Lord have mercy. Man, I mean, that's an interesting world to live in. I don't know about that world. Marvin, Shirley, Dad, any of y'all know? Any of the other 15 people watching?
This is where this gets me angry.
Yeah, come on.
You forget 3 years ago, Breonna Taylor was shot in cold blood in Louisville, Kentucky. If I'm not mistaken. Yes, definitely Kentucky, it's Louisville. Breonna Taylor was shot by police officers. No knock warrant. They knocked. They busted in there, started shooting her, killed her for no reason. Shot in her family because they suspected drugs. And what I'm saying, how does a police force go to all of that over something that had no evidence? They had no proof that there was anything in there to do something that drastic in that way, and then claim they were so innocent about the process, right? Because even the brother who was the mayor of the city or whatever was defending those officers' actions. To come to a place where there was footage of a professional golfer assaulting the police officer, and they don't even go through the due process. They just eliminate that.
Gone.
So, I mean, I know they're two different things, but I'm saying that's under the same cops, same police force. So how can this situation, they can obviously defend the murder, and they can dismiss when another person assaults a police officer, period, without going through any just due process?
Nothing. Just go back home, sir. Again, if you can sign a shirt or a hat for me and give it to me, we'd appreciate it. We'll see you next year for the next tournament. We sorry.
I don't get the Louisiana Police Department. I don't understand how that works. How that works. I mean, how are you going to be very critical in one situation and defending when you were wrong 100%? And I don't even know in the situation with this golfer whether they're right or wrong, but we know for a fact that he assaulted an officer.
Yeah.
He basically took off with the officer on the hood of the car.
Right. It's what a vehicular assault.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty stringent. That's what they would have filed against you and me.
Me and you wouldn't be happy with it. It would be no more Team No Sleep.
Right.
No, you know, matter of fact, to be funny, it would be Team No Sleep because I ain't trying to sleep in there because I ain't trying nothing to happen to me. So it'll be really Team No Sleep.
You know, live on the scene, coming to you live from Louisville.
Yeah.
We can only talk for 20 minutes at a time because we making light of it because I don't even know if we making light of it. It's just a weird situation, man. It's a weird situation.
But I mean, people got to address it, man. I mean, I really do. We always talk about certain incidents and certain situations. You have to address it. It's wrong. I mean, and I'm not saying he's not innocent. I'm not saying he's not innocent, but I'm saying you need to go through the due process like everybody else.
Yeah.
If he wasn't a professional golfer and anybody else, guess what? They would have to go through due process. They would have to go through being arrested, being detained, posting bail, getting a lawyer, going through the court system to figure it out, and getting the charges dropped. That's just me and you. Even if we were innocent, we have to go through that process. Period. For some odd reason, the prosecution is like, oh, we're not even going to press charges. We're not even going to pursue it. Really. But it's assault on a police officer, which we know those never get dropped.
No. Oh, yeah. Right.
Due process. There are guys in prison just because they shoulder bumped a police officer or made a threatening manner at a police officer. They didn't hit him. They didn't touch him. They just made a threatening manner at a police officer and they were in jail.
Yeah.
So you mean
some new
this
charges were made up just because you looked at me a little differently, said young man. So okay.
How many times have you been pulled over and you talking to a police officer and your voice escalates? He tells you be quiet and he puts his hand on the one.
Calm down, sir. Calm down, young man. I've been pulled over a number of times. Driving around fancy car. What's this, young man? What you doing in this car right here? No, brother, I bought this car. Well, right. So having those already them preconceived conversations and those preconceived notions.
Now I'm asking the same question. So let's say an officer jumps on your hood and you takes off. What is the probability that you're not going to be arrested and go to jail?
FanDuel don't have enough money to cover that.
You're gonna have a court hearing.
No, again, brother, listen, FanDuel don't have enough cash to cover that under because forget the Shohei Ohtani, forget what his interpreter was doing.
There is no way that's not happening. That wouldn't happen to a common person and definitely to a common person of color.
Yes, sir.
There's no way that was gonna happen. There's no way they would have got away with the charges dropped. I'm not saying innocent or guilty. They were going to go through the due process regardless. So I'm not upset that he got off. I'm not upset that the charges were dropped. I'm upset that there was no due process for somebody that assaulted a police officer. Because if it was me, there would be a due process I had to go through. Yeah. So I guess you guys can say and quote me on this, and you can I'm just jealous. I guess I'm just jealous.
You're just jealous. We wish we had it like that. We wish we had, but at least we got. Hey, at least Marvin say he gonna put some money on our books just in case we get caught up like that. But yeah, it's just an interesting thing. Closing that out, Scheffler said he wrote on his IG story that he hoped now to turn attention back to John Mills, who was the man who had been working at the championship as a vendor who was struck and killed by the bus. So
he need to give some of that prize money to his family, man. I mean, come on. I mean, you want to do something? Give some money to the family, to help them, handle their situation properly and have something in their pocket to be while they're getting over this mourning process. And that's the way I think you can take care of it. I think that whole tour, that whole PGA, that whole event should give money to that family. He's a part of that family. Everybody should give a little something to it, I believe.
I agree with that. Did you want to talk about the dog story?
Sure, why not?
I don't even know. I don't even know where to go with it, to be honest with you. But let me see where we at. 95-69. Oh yeah, Dallas. Yeah, they just want to take the train over to Boston. They're not trying to. They're not trying to go back to Texas.
They punch that ticket. They going to Boston, man. They got their coach ready. I bet you they already packed for Boston. To be honest with you, they probably already packed their bags ready to go.
Probably. Golly. We'll see. All right. So I saw this story and I immediately saw the headline: two animal cruelty warrants filed against Chiefs Isaiah Buggs. And I immediately, when I just read the headline, I thought of two things. I thought of Michael Vick and them dogs. Right, here we go again. Another black athlete getting caught up with some dog things. But then I said, there go the Chiefs again. There go the Chiefs. Because, man, the Kansas City Chiefs have got issues. The crux of the story is Isaiah Buggs had some pit bulls at a house where he wasn't even staying. He had some people staying there watching the house for him. The dogs were malnutrition, weren't being looked after. And police were called. Charges have been filed. Isaiah is thinking or assuming and feeling that the community where the house was, they don't want him there because he has some businesses that are atypical. He got a couple of hookah lounges, right? So they're in there smoking the tobacco, doing that kind of thing. So he owns a couple of lounges where they smoke the hookah, and he's thinking that they are stereotyping him and I don't want to use too many big words. I'm going to say ostracized, but I've never used that word in my life. So Bugs denies the charges and alleges his client is a victim of an ongoing subversive campaign to force the closure of the hookah lounge he owns in Tuscaloosa.
What does that got to do with malnutrition dogs?
What does that got? What that got to do with dogs? What that got to do with dogs?
I mean, the dogs. They said they were malnourished. I mean, they weren't fed right. I don't want to say malnutrition. They weren't fed right. They were skinny, above weight, and they were not being attended to. So they decided to charge him with, what was it? Animal cruelty. The dog.
Yeah. Yep.
So what does that got to do with you? I mean, it could be correlated because of you, but I mean, that has nothing to do with the other. As far as I'm concerned, you're trying to say, oh, they don't like me because I'm doing hookah lounges, but that has nothing to do with you taking care of your dog.
Right, but you're cool with everyone having a liquor. You cool with everyone having I don't know whatever else. If he was in Atlanta owning a strip club or what, right? You cool with all that other stuff.
Yeah. Well, I don't care if he has a hookah. I mean, to me personally, no, dude. First of all, whatever community he lives in, they can look. You could think they're looking down on you because you own a hookah lounge. I have never heard nobody getting mad at somebody who's making money living in an affluent community, because 95% of people do something that is not morally ethical, right? They own liquor stores. You own a bar that serves alcohol. You might own a legal marijuana place.
Yeah.
Hookah just adds to it. All that stuff adds to it. They're like he's living in a place where they're all dentists and doctors, and you just happen to be the only one with a hookah lounge. It's bad, I think, because money don't care where it comes from, right? They don't care.
Oh my goodness.
There's a drug dealer next to you. If you live in the Florida community, there you don't ever ask about some business. You can care less, right? You just keep it moving. I think he's trying to figure out a point why they call the cops on him, and why what's the situation? You have two pit bulls. You have probably some people that don't look like they're from that neighborhood.
Yeah.
All in your residence there, and you have these dogs there, and maybe they did call something, but I don't know. Was there some excessive partying you've had over there? Is there some arguments you had with your neighbors? Is there disagreements you had with your neighbors? Have they asked you to do something and you didn't do it within the property management or the dudes in your community, whatever? I think there's a lot more to it than just saying you got a hookah lounge and nobody likes you. Matter of fact, everybody probably loves you because you just won a Super Bowl. So I think he's trying to just point.
You got all kind of friends, right?
Somebody pointed at him, right? They pointed at him what he's doing wrong. And now I'm not saying did they pick him out, but I'm saying what did you do to stand out like a sore thumb for them to pick you out? What did you do in that community to do not? And I'm gonna be real. I don't think everybody fits everywhere, right? You moved in that community knowing that it's kind of like that, right? You moved into this upper echelon community, knowing that there's a lot of people that don't look like you, a lot of people that aren't young like you, a lot of people that start doing what you're doing. They probably don't have Dunks cars there with the big rims rolling around in that neighborhood and all that kind of stuff. And if you have that in that neighborhood, you're going to stand out. I mean, it is what it is. It's like Kanye West living in Calabasas, doing all that crazy stuff. He stands out no matter what. So you're
Kanye
young.
Stand out anywhere. Yeah.
That's doing young, but think about it, you're doing young people things. You own a hookah lounge. You probably party a little bit. You probably got a souped up car. You probably blast your music when you're coming through the neighborhood and all that stuff. And unfortunately, you're going to stand out in that neighborhood of all these other people. So you always going to have that one person that points the finger at you with all the negative stuff. So some of the story is right. They point the finger at him, but I don't think it has nothing to do with the hookah lounge.
No. And his representation is going to stand on business on that right there as well, because it says Robinson said Bugs declined the city's offer as he has serious concerns about the city and the police department's motivation for deciding to target his business. So he's going to ask the city, show me some receipts, show me where this is detrimental to the town, detrimental to the community, or whether if you had a problem with me, talk to me about the problem as opposed to this thing that you see out on it.
But again, what does that have to do with animal cruelty? If he's saying they're wrongfully targeting his business because he's a young African American man and he has a hookah lounge, that's a whole different conversation than saying, hey, you got animal cruelty to animals. And regardless if they are doing that, even if they are targeting him because he owns that business, what does that got to do with your dogs being neglected?
I don't know, man.
Now, I'm not saying there wasn't a sharp eye making sure your dogs are not neglected. I think, I think Sally Jane was across the street with binoculars making sure everything was going wrong. She was spying on your spot. But I'm just saying, that still doesn't give you the right to neglect your animals if you're going to have them, right? You need to feed them, take them for a walk, and do all that good stuff. And if you got to do, this is another thing. If you got cats just staying there at your crib, why ain't they taking care of them?
Make sure your folks is taking care of your business. Make sure you're watering the grass. Make sure you're cutting the grass, watering the lawn. All take care of the dogs. Take care of the dogs.
Like, homie, you live in here, you can't feed the dogs, man. Like, feed them and take them for a walk every day. I mean, come on, dog. And
here it is. Both dogs appeared malnourished and neglected, and the residents appeared to be abandoned. Man, come on, partner. If I got you watching my spot while I'm.
So you left some dogs at the crib with nobody even at the spot.
My goodness.
And then,
come on,
so, wait. So, there we go. So right there, how you gonna be mad and flip the script to say it's about my hookah lounges and that when you left 2 dogs in the house by themselves roaming around in that kind of neighborhood? So that means they're not being fed. That means they're using the bathroom everywhere. And obviously, if they're hungry, they're barking at every little thing that's going around. So they're being disturbance to them.
Can't have that.
So how's that have anything to do with your hookah lounge?
Bro, listen, you smoke and mirrors, man. I'm just going. Folks, y'all here. We reporting it. We bringing it and trying to figure out. Again, why is this happening? And I think the reason that it made it to the second page of ESPN because again, it's the Chiefs, though, right? And listen, you got Harrison Buckner. You got your boy. Was it Ruggs? What's his name? Rice. I'm sorry. You got Rice.
The receiver that was on the run. Yeah.
Right. Yep. I mean, you got a lot of things happening in a short period of time, and with this team, with the championship team, and like, man, y'all, what's going on? So I think that's why again it made it to the second page, kind of ESPN. But we'll see.
I mean, he's got to point the spotlights on him. It's definitely on him. But I'm just saying, bro, like you're deflecting what's going on. You're deflecting the situation. Like, that's your fault that you left the house by themselves and those dogs there by themselves. No one's there to take care of them. Now, maybe in this whole mix of things, they're probably mad because you got a hookah lounge and you're doing all those things. That could be on top of that. But obviously, if they were looking for a reason to shut you down, a reason to put your name in the paper, you just gave them one.
I'd love to see the security footage for the hookah lounge. I would love to see who coming in. Oh, there go my neighbor. There go the neighbor right there.
But I never heard of a community having a problem with a hookah lounge unless, I guess it's the unsavory people. Usually it's just a lot of people just smoking. And I don't even know if you have a liquor license to drink. They just smoking tobacco.
God, I don't know, man.
I mean, I don't know. I don't participate.
Well, we third person removed. We don't smoke the hookah. We corporate folks, right? We can't because my management may be watching right now. So, sir, I
don't get that.
We don't mess with that. We don't mess with that. All right, so let's do this, man. TMI here. I've been drinking coffee all day and I haven't taken a break. I'm gonna go to step out for 2 minutes. I want you to talk about what you did yesterday. Because what you did yesterday was just classic Montel Allen and just the value that you're bringing to the community. Talk about that, and I will be right back, brother.
Okay, absolutely. So yesterday I attended the Charles James Foundation, Scholarship Foundation in San Diego, California, which is a foundation that helps promote young students that are going to go the next way to college, student athletes, regular students, and so on. Charles James Foundation was graceful enough to allow me to start my own scholarship foundation underneath him, which was named after my best friend, my brother, Tim Wadholm. Tim Wadholm was my roommate in college. We played ball together. We basically became men together. He was there when I had my son in college. He was there to help me raise him in our apartment and doing the whole nine. We went through a whole lot together. And unfortunately, a few years ago, he lost his battle with cancer. So I thought the best way to be able to honor him was to create a scholarship fund. So this has been on, I believe, our 3rd year, giving out scholarships. And I was blessed to be able to give scholarships out to 2 amazing young people. Toulon Duncan, who's at San Diego High School right now. He will be attending Cal Lutheran. He's a student athlete. He has, I believe, a 4.0 GPA, and he's going to go to Cal Lutheran to study engineering. And the other young lady that I have is Jayla White, amazing young lady. She is going to Elmhurst University. She's a tri-sport athlete, and she's going to study I believe, neuroscience at Elmhurst in Chicago, Illinois. Two beautiful young souls, man, and I was just blessed to be able to just give them a little something to hopefully help them benefit their future and help ease the financial pain, to go into school. And I mean, I think I always enjoy the celebration of young people. And this is a celebration of their accomplishments they've done through high school, and what they are going to do in the future. My son Blake was a recipient of a scholarship from the Charles James Foundation, Blake, and he's doing amazing things. He's the age of 20 years old, and he's about to finish his master's up this year. So, and that helped the financial burden that we had, and I just always wanted to give back. And starting that scholarship under my man Tim at home just been a blessing in disguise. But I just think it's just the right thing to do, and I'm gonna continue to have his legacy live on as long as I got a breath in my body, and I can afford it, man. I'm gonna make sure I continue to make sure I bless people under my man's name, because he deserves that and more.
That's what's up. See, that's the caliber of folks that I'm hanging out with, man. That's Montel Allen folks, man. That going out there and giving back to the community.
Yeah,
you don't even have to, but you want to, and it's innate in you. So give you them flowers, brother. Give you them flowers.
I mean, I don't think I deserve flowers, but I think I'm just doing something I don't know, I felt that's what I was compelled to do. I don't, giving flowers and just saying I miss you and I remember you was one thing, but doing something and putting something in action is completely different.
Mm-hmm.
And my brother Tim, man, I don't think no one ever know how instrumental he was in my life. Like, for real. Like, I remember when my grandmother passed away when I was in college, my freshman year. And I'm crying, I'm upset. I'm trying to figure out a way to get back to my mom. I couldn't do it. And my man, this is like on a Tuesday or Wednesday. He was like, yo, I'll take you. Just pack your stuff up. We leave it in an hour. And I live, school was like 6 hours away. Man, he drove me home 6 hours and drove back to school. He missed school, but he made it to make it back to practice. And I'll never forget that, because he didn't have to do that, man. He was like, man, you can't find a ride, because I couldn't find a ride home. The buses wasn't leaving, the planes were way too expensive. I couldn't afford it. The whole nine. When you go through a sudden situation like that, I'm trying to figure out what's going on. And man, bro, he was just like, let's go, let's roll. I got you. I'm gonna take it. And me and him been brothers ever since. So this gesture is small compared to what I wish I could provide for him in his name. And I hope everyone appreciates it. They gets it. I hope they understand kind of the background from it. And then, I love his family. His kids are my god kids. He was my kid's godfather, and so nice. So I miss my brother.
Love it. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. That the story behind the story is again what I wanted folks to, because you told me about the closeness that you had with him before, but I wanted other folks to understand, new folks to the community, to know the story behind the story. Because again, you don't have to do what you do, but you do it because of the reason and because of what other folks have done in your life. So again, man, shouts out to you on that. Yeah, but you take the flowers, brother, because we passing them out. We got some other flowers to push out.
That, man. I appreciate, and it takes a village. It's just how many other people that him and people that are close to me. They also give to the foundation and give to a scholarship fund. And just incredible, man. Like I said, I'm hoping to grow it. I hope I continue to grow it even bigger and bigger and bigger, because I believe we need to celebrate more kids. We need to celebrate their accomplishments. We need to be able to push them to go to the next level and do the things they're going to do. Like I said, one person wants to be an engineer, the other person wants to be a neuroscientist.
Wow.
And that's in our community.
Yeah.
People that they have big aspirations to go do things. Why aren't we providing a vehicle or avenue to help them push them along and celebrate it while they're along the way? I think that's huge. And Those two weren't the only people to receive scholarships. There's other people that received scholarships as well from other different venues, but those are the two that I particularly selected for mine. And man, it's just like I said, I love celebrating young excellence, young people that are doing the right thing and doing good. And we need to do more of that. We need to do that. And we need to do it in various communities as well. So I've talked to Charles James and hopefully expanding it to more cities throughout the state if we can get the funding to do it and be able to just to provide that platform in, because it's needed, man. You know, it's needed in all of our communities. It's needed.
Sure.
We got too many good young people not having the resources to continue on to the next level, you know, of their education or the next steps in their life. We don't have enough people giving them the guidance to the next level and next step in life. We don't have enough people mentoring to the next level, to the next steps in their life. So we need to be able to put things in position to help them out. And I don't think it's always up to athletes and actors and all that stuff to do it. I think us in the community have to do it. We have to roll our sleeves up and give back. So
that's a good point, right? To do more, less talk and more action. And so this is funny because quite honestly, I was waiting for this to pop up because my guy is down there in your neck of the woods as well, and Dan is connected with a lot of different types of corporate entities, things of that nature. He says he's got connections to MLT and other internship opportunities. So if he can help, let him know. I will make sure that you have Dan Ross' contact information, because that's a bad man right there. Now I was sitting here. If I was a betting man, I was betting. I say I know Dan sitting there looking at this saying I can do some things. I can do some things. So appreciate you for stepping up, brother.
Dan, just a shout. I got your first candidate. My son right now he has an internship, but he's looking for another one. If you got something available, man, let's me and you talk. Well, I'll get your number and I'll text you. We can kind of conversate.
Dan know everybody. It's I don't know if he buying people off or what, or he got some tapes or something on people. But he know folks.
Don't bring
know. Folks know him.
Don't do the tape.
I love it. I love it. He's saying 1,000%. So let's talk again about some more flowers, because we talked about that, and this story means a lot to me because it means a lot to me. And we were talking ahead of the time about this, and you had some interesting commentary. So let's get into this, man. Let's get into this. Finally, the Negro League players are getting their flowers. The Negro League players are being recognized as the great athletes that they were in the sport of baseball. Why it means so much to me. Again, I played baseball so much of my life, and research project that has been going on since the year 2000, finally getting to a point where I believe they got 70 to 80% of the statistics entered into the system, and lo and behold, there's been some changes in who holds the biggest records or the top records. Case in point, someone like a Satchel Paige is up there near the top. We've who else did we move? Let me see. Hold on. We moved. Josh Gibson has passed Mr. Babe Ruth, has passed Mr. Ty Cobb for the top batting average. So we got some Negro League players at the top of the top list, and long time coming. I'm just thrilled that this has happened. Let's talk about this and let's get some commentary from the audience as well. But let's talk about some of the things that we talked about on the flip side as well, because you were making some statements that made me go, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't get me wrong. I appreciate the Major League Baseball doing this because I think it's important. But you know, I think these records and everything will come with an asterisk, unfortunately, because they didn't play in the Major League Baseball league. They played in the Negro League. You know, which was two different leagues. So they didn't, you know, the league wasn't integrated, even though individuals were integrated. And Josh Gibson was way past his time before he got a chance to play in the major leagues and set records and all that stuff. Not saying the quality of talent wasn't there at the Negro League like it was at Major League Baseball, but they're two different entities. That's like just to flip it. Imagine bringing Major League Baseball stats into the Negro League. It's not the same. It's just not the same. It's like bringing the Arena Football League stats to the NFL.
Make it plain, brother. Make it plain, Pastor.
You know what I mean? It's like bringing arena football to stats to the NFL and saying, hey, you know, with Kurt Warner's in arena football league passing yards, he's now the all-time overpasser over everybody. You know, over John Elway and everybody. He's the number one passer because of his arena league stats. Or Warren Moon, his Canadian league stats were more so than the NFL. I think it's two different leagues. Now, I appreciate what Major League is trying to do. They're trying to integrate it, trying to say, hey, I think they're just admitting to their mistakes, right? They didn't allow the Negro Leagues in when they were supposed to be in. So the only way they can hold on to say, hey, we're really trying to make sure we integrate because we do acknowledge they were professional players and they were very talented, that we want to bring their stats over to the Major League and incorporate them. But I think they're always going to have an asterisk next to them. It doesn't matter. You can't say someone that played his whole entire career in the Negro League and he had all these stats and you bring him over here and now all of a sudden he's pushed into the top 10 or the top 12 over Ken Griffey Jr. and Mark Aguirre and all these other people. It's always going to have the asterisk. It's going to say asterisk. These were stats within the Negro League.
So are you okay with that? Are you okay with that possible asterisk? But are you okay with this recognition? Because again, that's an interesting conversation. We'd love to hear what you guys in the audience think too.
I am in favor of having it there. I am, because I believe it shows how great of those talented players were in the Negro League and the stats they kind of put up. The dominating numbers they put up. I'm in favor of it. But it's different. It just has a different thing to it. I accept it, but that doesn't mean baseball traditions are going to accept it. That doesn't mean Major League Baseball enthusiasts are going to accept it. I'm not the important voice of it. I'm not the important voice. I'm fine with it. I'm okay with it, but I'm just saying I don't think they're going to be as accepting to us as I am. And I'm not a baseball enthusiast. And I think the people that are really into baseball, they're really into baseball. They're really into every stat. They're really into all these different things. But like I said, it's like bringing something that's out of the left and all into the right, and it's just not going to mesh right away or in favor right now. I just don't think it doesn't click as well right now without that asterisk in there. But I mean, this is the question I ask you. Yeah. What does Major League Baseball get out of doing this? What is the end game? There's an end game to everything. So what is the end game for you doing
this?
I see acknowledgement. That's about it.
It's a symbolic reparation. It's a symbolic reparation. It's not 40 acres and a mule. It's just we see you, we saw you, right? So I think this is almost an overdue, much needed checkbox that it had to happen now. But I think the commissioner of baseball, I think the head honchos of baseball are going to sit around and say we did something good, and at the end of the day they did do something good, but I think that and again, this is my opinion as well, I think that they're going to think that they did more than they actually really did do. Because again, I'm because Josh's Satchel's their family is not getting 10 acres and 5 mules, right? They're not getting nothing for this. They just getting put into a stat sheet now.
What's the difference between saying, okay, here's the Major League Baseball, and I'm sure you can do this because it's data now. You can sort it any way you want. But incorporating them to intertwine with Major League instead of just having them separate. Like, why don't you say, okay, Babe Ruth played this many games, he did this in the Major League Baseball, and Josh Gibson did this in the Negro League, and this is what he did in the Negro League. Because they have integrating them is not that I have an issue with it. The Vivilities always has an asterisk towards it. So it's always either going to be say, oh, that they weren't as good. You know what I mean? When you have an asterisk thing, it wasn't as good, or it was a time there was something that was skewed about why this data was recorded. It's always gonna be that way. So just like when they, the home run, right? When they were juicing, the home run has an asterisk next to it because they were under the subject that they were juicing. Even though they hit 35 home runs, it doesn't matter. So, I mean, I'm not sure what the end game of why they put it in there, and Why now? If it's not benefiting the people that played in the Negro League, except for just the fact you want to acknowledge them and acknowledge the stats versus in Major League Baseball, I'm not sure what's the benefit of this.
I don't know, because I answer it from an emotional side, right? Again, that this is long overdue. I've got these jerseys. I got Gray's jerseys. I've got right. So I've got like 6 Negro League jerseys hanging up in my closet right now. So I mean, it's an emotional attachment just from that side. But in the full grand scheme of things, man, it sure did take a long time. Man, it sure is going to take a lot of folks to pass on. A lot of the old cats to pass on before this really gets recognized.
To me, if the Major League Baseball at some point in all this said, we're officially going to inaugurate the Negro League was a part of the Major League Baseball. They were Major League Baseball. That's a different conversation. But as long as you keep separating Major League Baseball and there's Negro Leagues and you just want to integrate their stats, one's always going to have an asterisk next to it.
So that would be if they get in Cooperstown. If I see what you're saying.
Some of them are already. I think Josh Gibson's already in.
Yeah, Josh is already in there. But now you got to start making some more busts. You got to start making some more plaques, right? Because again, we just overtook Ty Cobb on some things. We overtook Babe Ruth in some things. I mean, so why? So my question be, why doesn't Major League Baseball do that? We want to fully indoctrinate the Negro League was Major League Baseball. Let's see if they do. I'm gonna be glass half full. They said they're 75% done with these statistical analysis and changing things. Let's see what they do. I don't want to put the cart before the horse and throw them under the bus. All those adjectives. That would be the thing that actually semi-rights this wrong. This is a really good Band-Aid. This is a really good Band-Aid. But I'm trying to, you know what I'm saying? This is some calamine lotion and a good Band-Aid, but this ain't the thing right here.
For me, okay, it's cool. It's just I disagree with about the asterisk. I mean, well, I'd ask Dan what's to disagree with? I mean, you can't say someone that played in the Arena Football League that has the same amount of stats as somebody who's played in the NFL. It's just two different things. One's an apple, one's an orange. They're both fruit, right? They fall under the fruit umbrella, but they're both different. The Negro League was completely different than the Major League Baseball League. So how can someone that accumulated all these stats in the Negro League be in the same stat sheet and be comparable to someone from Major League that played in all Major League Baseball games? Like, it's two different things. Now, I agree. If they indoctrinated said the Negro League was a Major League Baseball, they should have been, absorbed by us, and make that full apology and say we want to make sure they were Major League Baseball. We're going to count the stats towards that. That erase all asterisks. But until then, I can't see where there's not an asterisk there. Because some kid that's only seen Major League Baseball is going to say, well, who's Josh Gibson? I've always thought Babe Ruth was the guy. Oh, Josh Gibson played for the Tuskegee. Who? I never heard of them before. Yeah. I don't even know. Is that a Major League Baseball team? No, it's a Negro team. Now it may spark questions and intrigue. I'll give you that, but I don't know. I just can't see without it not being an asterisk there. And I don't know if that's good or bad. To be honest with you, I don't know if that's good or bad. I'm just saying I'm just pointing out the obvious.
Mm-hmm. Well, or maybe not even the obvious, but just a rational question that that may not have been asked and hasn't been bubbled to the top. Because again, a lot of us looking at this from an emotional side. Dan is stating here, he says, here's his devil's advocate statement. If the MLB is putting asterisks next to the steroid era player records, and they put an asterisk next to the Negro League, 2/3 of the stats in MLB history would have what? Oh, would have asterisks. Right. And that is true too. Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa, what's your boy? Barry Bonds. We got questions. Jose.
No, don't do Barry. Yeah, allegedly has to.
Oh, see, okay. So Barry is allegedly, but we're not going.
But I mean, yeah, I mean, he's right. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm just saying they're going to differentiate the Negro League players from Major League Baseball because they're not part of the Major League Baseball umbrella. So you have to be able to decipher it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And maybe my example was bad. I'm not quite sure if it's bad or not. But
that's all
they
right,
have to. Yeah, they have to put them. They have to put something different there because, again, their stats was accumulated in something completely different than the league they are in. Now, I don't know. Me personally, I don't know what the point is. What's the end game for the Major League Baseball doing this? You know, like you said, maybe it's a Band-Aid, it's acknowledgement saying sorry. I'm not quite sure what's supposed to be of this because Josh Gibson's family doesn't get anything of this except that the honor that their grandfather or whatnot was, is now the all-time leading hitter of all time. I would like to see Major League Baseball do more. Major League Baseball is a quadrillion-dollar business. I think they could do a little bit more. And I guess this is a start, man. I mean, I'm just glad they're acknowledging it and they're putting it there, doing some things. That's always wonderful to give the credibility where credibility was, or credit where credit is, and give acknowledgement to these great players that played in that era of that league. But I'm not quite sure what's the end game. What's going on?
Absolutely.
I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. We're in agreement. I think we're saying the same thing. I think just my analogy, my example was poor.
Dan, you coming on the show next week, man? Get yourself camera ready.
Is not an ethical reason to put an asterisk. Yeah, but a difference is 2 different leagues are a reason to put an asterisk. 2 different companies is to put an asterisk. I mean, it just is unless you integrate it. Example. Here's a better example. AT&T and Sprint, 2 different companies, right? So years of service at those companies. Now, if everybody from Sprint is going to roll into AT&T, you say, hey, you get to keep your years of service, right? Your years of service counts from when you went Sprint and whatnot. But you can't take Sprint years and say, hey, we're going to put them against AT&T years, and they're all going to mesh. And we're going to figure out who has the most years of service that way. Whoever had the most years of Sprint, unless you integrate them all under one. Yeah, let's just integrate it into one. So if they say the Negro League is part of Major League Baseball, I'm all for it. Josh Gibson should be the number 1 guy. If you say the Negro League was separate in Major League Baseball and we integrate it, okay, then I need to figure out what the difference is and where they played and who they played for in the years. And that's different. The argument would be that was a different competition, better or worse, blah, blah, and so on and so on. There'll always be questions around why is this person first and second? And again, Major League Baseball, why? Why are we doing this all of a sudden? What's the goal? What's the goal? What's the goal of integrating their stats in Major League Baseball if they're not a part of Major League Baseball?
Yes. Dan, you listen. We wrapping up, but you definitely coming up. We gonna carry this off until next week because we gonna have part 2. He's still in there talking about how many your analogy about the T-Mobile thing. How many of those years are spent trying to cancel service and we. But again, that is like a debater, right? He out there trying to be on the debate team. He was probably the captain of his debate team.
I don't, like I said, man. I'm always open to the debate. Dan, I mean, I'm pretty sure. I know you're making the point. I'm not understanding if it's not the same, then you can't really. The records just doesn't mesh with me. And you come on and you argue with me and you tell me why it should be the same way, and I'm gonna sit here and listen.
We will listen. We will listen. I will make sure we bring your good side too, because we want to make sure you look right. We gonna take care of that. So we'll chop it up in a little bit, Dan, and see if we can get you on, and anyone else, right, who wants to come on, because we do talk about a lot of sensitive subjects, and we're not just sitting here Monday morning quarterbacking. We want to have the dialogue with other folks. I see all the other folks watching. I'm looking at the other platforms as well. Y'all know y'all can leave comments. Don't be bashful with leaving comments. But we'll probably strike a chord with someone to where we can do that. I don't understand why they are not the same. Yeah, okay, man. Hold that smoke, brother. Hold
I said the same thing. Why?
Dad, keep that same energy, brother. We gonna come back next week and we gonna bring it back, right? We gonna bring it back. But we had to talk about that. We had to talk about that, and I'm glad we had a kind of a differing conversation about that. I'm glad we had somewhat of a debate about that as well. And maybe we'll go a little bit deeper next time. Montel, let's bring it home, man. Let's bring it home.
Absolutely, man. Definitely, if you have people out there that you feel that are in trouble, going through depression, please, man, reach out to them, if it's loved ones or if it's yourself. We'll put the suicide hotline number in our scroller, especially this week and next week and probably from now on. But man, check on those people, check on your loved ones, check on your friends, check on your circle to make sure they're A-okay and they're all right. For us, man, please pray for your loved ones, and please be comfortable having uncomfortable conversations, because it's how we learn.
That's it, y'all. We out. See you next time. Dan, we gonna take care of you. Marvin, I see you. Let's go, y'all.
Bringing the heat, team no sleep, with champions meet. We're on the mic, taking over the game. No time for rest, no scrambling for fame. Talking sports, breaking it down from the court to the field. All around town, we stay up all night, grinding on the mic, bringing news, real stories on the fly.